Hey, what's up, Coach? Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking time out. We're gonna start out with some questions. The first person who will start is Jonathan, followed by Will P.
Hey Joe, hope you're doing well. Uh, you know, Chuba is a different type of player than Christian, of course, and I'm wondering probably what are probably the most positive traits he brings to this offense, and then I'll ask you the second question.
Look, I think Chuba's a dynamic runner. He can, I think he does. When the ball's in his hands, good things happen, and that was what we liked about him coming out. And I think he displayed that in the preseason. It was good for him to get an opportunity at the end of the last game to be able to do things. And he showed that he can be a capable back and he can play in this league. And I'm excited for him moving forward.
And what in particular do you think you'll need from him this game, and however else long Christian might be out?
Yeah, I just need Chuba to be Chuba. I don't need him to, I think sometimes when there's injuries or whatnot, you guys try to feel like the ordinary things they have to do and they have to be extraordinary at it. And, his good is good enough. And that's all I need him to be. I need him to be Chuba Hubbard and his good's good enough.
Joe, I know that necessity sometimes is the mother of all invention, but how much did the second half kind of provide the blueprint for you against Houston to being what this offense can be without Christian?
Well, I mean, obviously, we had to make adjustments, in a short week last week. There's only so many reps I can get around. And so, once Christian goes out, you have to kind of, figure things out and kind of just get back to, what that your guys can do well. And, it just shows that, hey, we're confident with the 11 guys that are going to be out on the football field. And, the moves that we made this offseason were to better our football team, better our offense. And so, whoever's out there, we feel confident that they're going to be able to get the job done. And, I was happy to see those guys do that, especially in the second half.
And so much about Sam's time with you has been kind of remaking his risk management process. What exactly do you do with him to make sure that he, number one, doesn't take a chance you don't want him taking, and number two, diversifying the offense in a way that still gets you the production you had without your most productive player in there?
I mean, I think that'd be an answer that would get into a lot of specifics, but to me, it's more of just Sam just being confident, and him just playing within the system. And it's not anything that myself, Sean, or that we're doing specifically. That's he's just, I feel like just as games go on, he's just getting more confident, just an understanding and a feel of what we're expecting. And so it's not necessarily a risk management thing. It's more of him just playing confidently. And I think that's something that he will, and I hope for him to continue to build upon.
All right. David Newton, followed by Joe Person.
Hey, Joe, good to have you here today. Wanted to ask you the first kind of a lighthearted question. What do you think of Sam being tied for the NFL lead in rushing touchdowns right now?
Is that right? No, I'm good. Anytime there's touchdowns going around, I'm sure that's what everybody would have thought coming into the season. Now, like anytime we're getting in the end zone, it doesn't matter who it is. It's a good thing. So I'm excited for him, and touchdowns are always good.
And what do you like most about Sam's first 3 games, and what do you feel like he needs to improve on the most moving forward?
The fact that we've been going 1-0 each week. That's really without getting anything in particular with Sam. That's when I come out of the game. That's really all I care about. With regards to his play, is him just doing whatever he can to find a way for us to win football games. And we've been fortunate he's been able to do that the first 3 games. And we got obviously a huge one coming up this weekend. So that's really all I kind of care about from that standpoint.
Hey, Joe, what did you learn about yourself as a play caller last year during those 13 games without Christian that could help you over the next few weeks?
I think, like we kind of said going into the season, as a play caller, you have, football goes on, right? And so you're going to have to find a way to find out what your guys do well. And that's why we have a vision for every player on our offense. And so you're not necessarily forced to have to get creative necessarily, but you just have to sit there and say, hey, what do these guys do well? Regardless of if we started the season with the same 11 starters as we did, there's at the end of the day, 11 guys are always going to be out there. And, from a play calling standpoint, you have to trust that those guys are NFL football players and they're here for a reason. And, I have confidence in whoever's out on the field. And so from a play calling standpoint, it didn't change my mindset. It just shows that, hey, there's a reason these guys are in the NFL, and you get to maybe a little more creative with certain things, but outside of that, nothing crazy.
Is this week a particular challenge because you're now without Christian and Dan Arnold?
I think every week, presents challenges. Every week kind of has its own, there's nothing where you're kind of, hey, we're building off of something from the previous week, or we're trying to stack things, or, hey, is this more? Every single week, I think, brings enough challenges as its own. And so, I don't look at it from any one particular reason. It's just, it's going to be a challenge just because it's the next one. It's the most important one because it's the next one.
Antonio Ramos, followed by Darren. Thank you.
Hey, Joe, do you see Terrace Marshall's role increasing a little bit more that now without Dan Arnold? I know they play different positions, but they kind of attack the same zones on the field.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think it's, with Christian being out or Dan being out, from a role standpoint, we'll obviously see come Sunday, what changes might necessarily have to come from that. But, I think the biggest thing is all the guys just fully understanding that I don't need anybody to do anything more, when injuries happen. They just all got to just be who they are and just, trust the system and just make the plays that are thrown to them. But we're not asking anybody to have to do anything more than, they're capable of doing.
And also, Trevon Diggs is probably one of the best corners so far this season. What would you say is the best way to attack him, and how you plan to use DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson against him?
You just want me to give away the whole game plan, huh? No, look, I unfortunately, had to go against him in college, 2 years ago. He's obviously a dynamic corner. You saw, he's making plays on the football. So, you got to know where he is at all times. I think he does a great job of understanding splits and routes and the personnel that he's going against. And so, kind of like Joe said, he's definitely one of the challenges, along with, the rest of the guys on their defense, this week. Sorry, I can give you a little more.
Joe, when we were talking to Sam yesterday, I asked him about the difference between Dan and Tommy as tight ends, and he kind of laughed and said, well, Dan's taller. Beyond that, what are there differences between those two and how they kind of fit into the passing game?
Yeah, I mean, there's, I think all the tight ends of the room all bring like a different, kind of the things that we kind of talked about, along the way. But Tommy brings the versatility that, I feel like he, in the run game and the pass game, he brings, stuff to our offense. And without getting into the details of what, he does differently or whatnot, we feel confident that, in whatever role Tommy's in, he's going to be able to have success and, with the rest of that tight end group.
Where have you seen the most growth out of Tommy over the course of this first month of the season, or even training camp to now?
I think like any rookie, first year player, your process, you're learning as things go on. You can take on more of a role, and then just getting a better feel of just, the amount of plays or the pace of play. And so, that's something you always have to be conscientious of rookies is, are you asking them to do too much? And so, I've been pleased with, the role that he's taken on so far. And, and I'm just like anybody, all those other guys in those tight end room, I'm excited to see, their progress, as we move forward.
And we'll finish up with Skylar. So Skylar, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, just sticking with the tight ends, with Dan now out, does that really switch up a lot of the responsibilities for those guys? Do you see Ian getting more targets in the passing game, or is this kind of everyone staying with what they've been doing, and maybe this just opens up more of a door for Tommy?
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll definitely see come Sunday, kind of how things kind of play out. But obviously, I thought, Dan did a great job for us, in the games that he was here. But like I've kind of said, I'm excited about that tight end group and, what they're going to bring to the table on Sunday, and we'll kind of go from there.